Hey everybody, welcome back to the Backlog channel. Recently I've been on a kick of just collecting a lot of Amiibos. Since the concept of Amiibos, I've always been weirdly intrigued considering how little Amiibos really matter in the grand scheme of things. They don't do a lot for their purpose, but I think it is cool that Nintendo is fully making their own first-party versions, little statue characters, little figurines of their own characters, and Amiibos being first-party, made by Nintendo, will ensure that, for the most part, they will be made the most accurate and realistic to the original product as possible. So the Super Smash Bros. Mario Amiibo is probably the closest you're gonna get to an official, not just official, but a very nice looking figurine for Mario. So I'm more into the Amiibo idea because I think they just look cool on a shelf. I've always loved how they look in the box and outside of the box, and they all have a unique look. You can tell what's an Amiibo and what's not for the most part. There's some exceptions to that, like the yarn Yoshis that aren't even on a platform. They're just yarn Yoshis with a little Amiibo and NFC chip reader at the bottom of them. And I have gotten a pretty big collection since Amiibos first started coming out. There was a long while there that I wasn't really getting Amiibos. I was more into getting games and stuff. But when Amiibos first came out, the craze of Amiibos really hooked me like it did really everyone else. So I'd like to today just look over my Amiibo collection, just one by one. We'll go by them real quick. I'll talk about them a little bit, which one's my favorite, which ones aren't. But without further ado, let's just look at my Amiibo collection. So first of all, I have a lot more than I remember having. I was pulling them, and when I looked over, just looking right now, I don't remember having this many. Yeah, I guess just over time, you kind of forget which ones you've collected and which ones you haven't. There's been a few times where I've gotten duplicates. Obviously, those aren't gonna be in here. And yeah, I guess I'll just randomly pick from the bunch, and we'll talk about it. So, first up, we got our boy Charizard. We got a nice little Charizard Amiibo here. He is one of the, from what I can remember, the first batch of Amiibos that came out, if not the second, I think. So the way the original Smash 4 Amiibo lineup came was they did it in 4 different groups of like characters. So first they had like Mario, Luigi, Pikachu. I think they had Kirby as well, stuff like that. Obviously they're gonna have a lot of the main characters. I don't specifically remember if Charizard is the first, and it was in the first lineup, but he looks pretty good, I would say. Not a lot to complain about here. I've kept him in the box. Okay, so obviously first you're gonna see that I have all my boxed Amiibos here, ones I haven't opened. Those are more recent ones. Anything that's boxed is something I've gotten in more recent time, within the last year or so, maybe 2 years. Everything else, with a few exceptions like Kirby, I didn't have originally, I got him recently. But most of these unboxed ones are ones I got in box, and then I took them out to use them, because I've actually used a lot of these Amiibos for what they're made for. Again, with a few exceptions. So I think we should just go through the boxed Amiibos first. So we first got the Charizard Amiibo. You can tell the difference between the Smash 4 Amiibo box and the Smash Ultimate Amiibo box. And I'll show you the difference between the Smash Ultimate and Smash 4 Amiibo boxes when we get there. But for right now, we got a Charizard up on the table. And okay, so there we go. We already got an Ultimate Amiibo. So Amiibos first came out for Smash 4 and Smash for Wii U and Smash for 3DS. They were an original concept. I think they came out in 2014. The first line came out, and you can very clearly tell the difference between the Smash Ultimate and Smash 4. For one, the Smash Ultimate box is smaller. If you look at the side of it, it is less thick. It takes up less plastic space. This has a lot of more extra space taken on it, and I think that's because the Charizards and the Bowsers of the world took up a lot more box space, so they needed all that extra box space. But for something like Sheik, which I'll get to in a second, doesn't take up all that box space. I think they've kind of flattened, if as much as possible, these other newer amiibos. They're a lot less 3D. They don't take up a whole bunch of space forwards, backwards, left, and right. They kind of just, they take up a lot of room left to right. The boxes are still the same, like left to right length, I would say, but they made them a lot more shallow. So here we got Banjo-Kazooie. He is one of the DLC characters, and my box is a little damaged, but yeah, we got Banjo-Kazooie here. Not a lot to say about him. He's just another Smash Ultimate. I think it is cool how they put him on a jigsaw. That is a Banjo-Kazooie reference, and what you'll see in a lot of these amiibos over here is that there's not a lot of references to their games. It's kind of just simply them in a pose from Smash Brothers in an amiibo form. But I like how they did this. This isn't just Banjo-Kazooie, it's Banjo-Kazooie on a jigsaw piece, and it gives a lot of extra flavor. I like that one. So next we got, this is a special one. This one, okay, so, sorry, I'm gonna have to confess something here. I don't only have English amiibos. Oh no! But I'm not one of those motherfuckers who buys amiibo cheaper online from other countries. I got this guy in Germany. That's why you can see the Germany flag right there. It's the Chibi Robo. I'm pretty sure specifically for Chibi Robo Ziplash. We got the Chibi Robo Ziplash amiibo here. It is, as you can tell, in Japanese, and some of the words up here you could probably see through the sticker are in German, but it is still the same amiibo. You can tell that this is my first non-Smash amiibo I'm looking at, and I really liked this one because of the fact that he's sitting in a patch of grass instead of just a normal stand. They kind of make it look a little bit more different by having the patch of grass there. He's one of those amiibos I will never take out of the box. He just looks too cool inside of it. The box just fits exactly what the amiibo's meant to be. This is a Smash Ultimate amiibo again, although Young Link was in Melee. Originally, amiibos came in Smash 4, and Young Link was not in the series again until Smash Ultimate. So we got his Smash Ultimate render here, and this is around the time that Nintendo was really perfecting the human look to amiibos. We'll see later, like with the original Link over there, we'll get to him. But they did not have the human look down for an amiibo. They kind of looked a little deformed, maybe a little melted, like a melted candle face or something like that. And yeah, Young Link, not a lot to say there. Just another Ultimate amiibo. That looks pretty good. It's a pretty good looking one. Sheik, we got ourselves a Sheik amiibo. If I can remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Sheik was hard to find for a while there, but I mean, probably not as much anymore. I think this was an exclusive at some point. It's just another Smash 4 amiibo. I don't really have any attachment to that one. It's one of my newer ones. I mean, it's Sheik. You can't go wrong with Sheik. So over here we got ourselves a Sephiroth amiibo. This one I got as a gift alongside my Cloud amiibo at the same time. I like how they kept his sword without needing a balance beam, because a lot of the problems that you'll see with the original Smash 4 renders is that, I think you can see it on Sheik, to keep them up steady you needed to put this piece of plastic so they won't, like, you know, fall over when they're baking or being cooked in the oven or something like that. I don't know, you So they're not bending. So they had to put these ugly pieces of fucking plastic to hold them up. And it just didn't look good for a lot of the case. For Sephiroth, they found ways to get around that, kind of like putting the sword in his hair, so it's being held by the pieces of hair that are there. He does have a plastic piece holding him up right there, a little plastic beam, but it's hard to see. They specifically put it in the back of him and under kind of where his kilt dress thing is coming down. Okay, so over here we got our Peach amiibo. This is one of the earlier ones, and you can tell by the face that they didn't fully perfect that yet. It doesn't look bad. The eyes just look a little jarring on it. There's another beam in there, but again, they do pretty good hiding it past the dress. I mean, if you're looking at it straight, you can't see it. All you can see is her feet. If you look a little downwards, like you're trying to go up her dress or some weird shit like that, yeah, you can see the beam, but no one's gonna look at that on a shelf and see, oh, there's an ugly ass beam up Peach's asshole. Next one is Daisy. So you can definitely tell the difference between Peach and Daisy. They made Daisy a little bit bigger, her face a little bit bigger. It sticks out more cartoonish, I would say. And her eyes fit a lot better on her face than Peach's did. They look a lot more natural. Again, this is a Smash Ultimate amiibo, so obviously it's gonna look a little bit better there. So over here we got Sora, who I was very ecstatic. This is one of the last, I think, if not the last Smash amiibo that came out, and it's kind of crazy seeing that Mickey emblem on an amiibo. They did pretty good with the face. I don't know, it looks a little uncanny. Like, if you see this, yes, okay, that is Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora, or Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora, but made to look like the Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of like art style, if that makes sense. And God, that face, I don't know, man, it looks cheesy and weird. It just looks fucking weird to me. We got our Sora amiibo. This is one of my favorite video game characters of all time. If you guys know me, you know I love Kingdom Hearts. So here we got a Ganondorf, and I've never fully looked at this one up close. I've only gotten it, put it right on the shelf with the other amiibos, right in the closet over there, which is where they come from. Let's see if they did his face correctly. Okay, kind of. You know what? For Smash 4 standards, that's not too bad. He also doesn't have that much of it kind of looks like an army man if they painted his eyes on and then gave him a beard and hair. You know what? He looks alright. He looks fine enough for what he is and what he's doing. I'm not gonna get too mad at it. I think he looks good enough. There you go, Ganondorf. Looks fine enough, I guess. So let's keep with the Smash Brothers trend for the moment. We have Joker here. This is a very cool amiibo for the fact that they used flames right here, if you can see these blue flames, to prop him up. So I wish they did this with more characters. It kind of, now that I'm thinking about it, that's probably why they put a Jigsaw under Banjo and Kazooie, to keep them steady in the position they were, as a little stepping stool to keep them not have a beam up their foot or their ass. It seems as if Nintendo started getting creative right when they were starting to ramp down with the amiibos. This is a very top tier amiibo, I would say. Looks very nice, looks very good. So this, I'm just now realizing, I think it's based on the Advent Child version of Cloud. It says player 2 there, so that means it's the second skin for Cloud. It's not his original one, and I mean, his face looks good. I mean, he doesn't have blue eyes. They gave him like fucking, I can't even tell the color. So right here we got King Dedede, and this is a really nice amiibo. It has heft to it. He is a heavyweight in the game. He's slow but strong. So, I mean, they gave him some heft. It seems like there's a whole bunch of them. If you look in the back, it looks like it has his emblem. He looks completely perfect, to be honest. I don't really see any problems with it. I like the texture of the fur of his jacket. I like his hammer, his gloves. Pretty much everything looks good on him. His face is literally perfect, but it is King DDD. He's not very, he's expressive, yes, but, you know, it's not hard to do that face. One of the better amiibos, I would say, probably the best out of all the ones we've looked at so far. That is a really nice amiibo. And then this boy over here, I am very proud to have him, and for the simple reason that he was a GameStop exclusive, which made him very fucking hard to find out in the wild. And I mean, he's just your average Ness. He looks a little fucking weird. His mouth looks a little too high on his face. His face looks weirdly rounded. His eyes look fucking huge for some reason. But, I mean, I'm not going to complain too much. It looks good enough for a Ness amiibo. Okay, so I'm going to move a few of these amiibos to the side. I've just went through all the box Smash amiibos I have. I'll move them to the side and we'll look at some others. Okay, so now I have all my amiibos back on here. So I cleared off the space on here so that way we can pull up some more of the amiibos. I'm going to try to do the 4 boxed amiibos next. So, starting off with Waluigi. This is the only Super Mario amiibo that I will get in the box, let alone probably get ever. I have 2 more over there out of the box, but those were like $2 each, so I was like, why the fuck not? I might as well get them. They're so cheap. But this is the only one that I've gotten for full price, and it is because it is Waluigi, and I fucking love Waluigi. I think he is one of the coolest characters ever, and I really like how his design is, his eyes are just fucking looking in 2 different directions, thinking of 2 different things. I think his design is really good. Like, this is one of the best figurines I've seen for Waluigi. I don't know, his eyes are doing a funky madness for some reason. So I'm gonna pull all these 3 out at once. They're kind of a bundle deal, and this is my only complete set of amiibos that I have. If you don't consider the Chibi Robo Ziplash one, that is technically 1, which is a complete series, but that doesn't count because it's just 1, so it's not even a series, it's just a one-off. This is the Mario Odyssey amiibo set. We got Mario. I'm not sure, but I think this is the way. I've always had them set up like this, specifically because it just seems like Mario's pointing to the right, Bowser's pointing to the left, and Peach is in the middle, kind of just like, oh look, they're both pointing at me, look at my face, I'm a fucking girl. But I really like these amiibos. They're very random that they exist. The Peach and Bowser one makes sense because in the game, the first scene, Peach is in a wedding dress, Bowser's also in a wedding fit, and Mario is not. So the only time you see this is when you unlock it as a just unlockable costume in the game. These are the only Mario Odyssey amiibos made, and I just feel like they wasted that opportunity because there's so many costumes that Mario has in Mario Odyssey, and I think it would have been so cool if they made a bunch of Mario Odyssey amiibos based on the costumes he has in the game, and that would be a way to unlock a lot of these costumes without having to buy them with coins. You could just go to the store, buy a maybe $8, $12. I would say $8 would have made more sense because, you know, make them a little bit cheaper because there's going to be so many of them, and have a whole line of Mario Odyssey amiibos that you could use to actually unlock something in the game. But it's not content held behind the amiibo, it's just a simpler, faster way to get that content. I think that would have been an amazing idea and they missed out, but that's just me. I think that's how they could have gotten their Mario 64 amiibo. That's how they could have gotten so many different their Mario and swim shorts amiibo. They were pushing that image for a while there for some reason. They only ended up doing the wedding fits, and it's a matching set. I like it. There's just one more thing I want to show off first before I go on to the normal amiibos. So for a while here, Nintendo was using cards as amiibos. They not only did this for Animal Crossing, but they also did it for series like, I think it was Mario All-Stars, like Mario All-Star Sports or something. I forget the name of the game, but there's a complete set of like 20, 30, maybe 40 cards that are all Mario characters. They're the best renders of those characters, so they're pretty nice, but they all have an Amiibo NFC chip built into them, just like these. So Animal Crossing cards, this is the first set of Amiibo cards that they started doing. It's basically an Amiibo, but you get it in a pack of cards. Mine is unopened. It'll probably stay unopened because I don't need the cards. I just want the idea that I have these cards. Okay, moving along to the main attraction, if you will. We are going to look at all of these and a few of these over here that didn't fit over there. These are some of my first Amiibos I ever had. I'll talk about which ones were my originals from like all the way back in 2014 when the idea of Amiibos came out, right alongside Smash Brothers. And I'll talk about how I got some of the newer ones out of the box though. So first of all, you got to start with the original, the Mario Amiibo over here. Simple little Amiibo. I think this is probably 99% of the population's first Amiibo. He is a perfect example of how you make a really good looking Amiibo. He has this fireball, which is just a piece of plastic, but it sticks out from the other Amiibos, and it really set a tone for what Amiibos had to look like and do to work. Next, obviously, probably everyone's second Amiibo. If you were to get anything after Mario, you'd get Link. So I've got some things to talk about with him. Why the fuck does it look like he's pissing down his leg? So this is what I was talking about earlier with the stands for some of the original Amiibos. They're piss ass yellow and they're very obvious. Okay, so the problem with Smash 4 Amiibos is that the character renders are a lot more expressive in that game. They're not standing still. As you can see, Link is on his very tippy toes and he is kind of like in action running kind of to the side, posing. So they had to stabilize him somehow. It just really is very distracting. Right here we get the sword, so if you can tell, it's a little bent. That's a problem with some of the original swordsmen in the Amiibo line, like Link, Marth. Their swords would start bending because the plastic was so thin on them. They just start to bend over time. They're very flexible. If you can see his face, it is not good. They did not have the faces down yet, obviously. That doesn't even look like Link's face. It's acceptable. You know what? It's not acceptable. This is not acceptable, Nintendo. But it's okay, because they don't do it anymore. It has changed for the better. One of the next ones I got after that was my Luigi Amiibo right here. It almost looks like he has a brain tumor right there, and he has a little bit of dust on his hat. Oh. Again, just the stand kind of ruining the Amiibo, but they kind of needed it with the poses they had for the renders of these characters. So next up, one of my first ones as well was Pikachu. I was really just creative with the ones I wanted in the beginning. It's just Pikachu standing, right? I mean, nothing too special. Mine's a little beat up on the ear, but you know, what can you do? One of my first ones was actually 3 at once, and I'll show those right now. First of all, we got Rob, and then we also got Duck Hunt and Mr. Game & Watch, all in one pack. I guess just as the retro characters of the game. They all came in a 3-pack, and they're not related at all. I guess these are both NES things. That's not even a character in a game. Rob is an accessory for the NES. That is a main character of an NES game. And this is a fucking LCD display. Let's start off with Rob first. He looks good. I mean, you can't really mess this up. I like this little tube they have here. It looks like they got a little not as much definition as they definitely could have on him. I like the little LED light they have on top of his head. It looks good. But for the most part, it's just Rob. But if you know me, I have the most random shit in my collection for some reason. So I also have, I don't even remember how the fuck I got this guy, the other Famicom version of Rob. So he came in 2 colors. I'm pretty sure this is a Japanese exclusive Rob. He has a red color scheme to him. He's the same thing, literally the exact same amiibo. So also in this pack, you'd get Duck Hunt Dog and the Duck, which again fails from the fucking, one of the worst example of these stands. The duck is literally in the air, so they have to have this stand protruding into his stomach, and it just looks really bad. And okay, so this is one of the most interesting cases when it comes to an amiibo, and it was in one of the first lines of amiibo that came out. I don't know why they wanted to do this, or why they only ever did this with this guy, but if you can see, he pops out of there, right? Why does he do this? Why is it just the amiibo base now? Why can you pop the Mr. Game & Watch amiibo out, but none of the others in the entire series of amiibo? That's why. So for some reason, Mr. Game & Watch came with 3 different amiibo swap-ins, and I'm pretty sure this was only for the, I was gonna say, I thought it was only for the 3-pack, but it was not. Every pack you got of Mr. Game & Watch came with this. This is such a boring amiibo. They kind of had to do something for it to be worth the extra $12 like every other amiibo. They had to spice it up, give you something a little extra, because this is just a guy, a 2D guy. So another amiibo I had pretty instantly was, for some reason, Diddy Kong, which, I mean, he is such a bad looking amiibo. His fur looks good. The piss yellow stand again strikes again. I mean, they kind of have to. I think, you know what? I think they didn't need this stand here. I think they could have sufficed by making his hand and his foot just stick in there a little bit better. You know what I mean? And if you look at his eyes, fuck me, he's looking at 2 different things here. I don't know what the fuck happened here. I don't know why the fuck I have cum stains on the side of my amiibo as well, but man, it just looks so bad. And one of my last early amiibos that I had was Pac-Man. So I just thought he's cool. I mean, his amiibo looks practically perfect, but what can you do? He's literally Pac-Man. He's such an easy amiibo to do. If you see over here, the Super Mario Bros. 30th Anniversary Mario Maker 8-bit sprite of Mario, and they made it 3D-fied. What they did here was, for Mario Brothers 30th Anniversary, they bundled this amiibo with some Wii U sets that had Mario Maker built into them. There was a little corner in the bottom right with this amiibo in it, and that's how you would get this amiibo outside of just getting it in a normal box like I did. I just think it's a really cool amiibo. It's one of the coolest. They 3D-fied a 2D sprite, and they did it pretty well. You can really look at any angle and it doesn't look wrong. I mean, it looks exactly like how you would expect it to look. And this is one of the most practical uses for a game, I would think, that I have at least, and I've experienced. You can use this amiibo in Mario Maker to get a special power-up that makes you big and be able to stomp through everything in your path. I don't know. That is one of my favorite amiibos, practical-wise, looks-wise. He's in a fucking pipe as his base. It's just one of the most creative ones. It's one of the most sturdy, nice feeling ones. Yeah, I really, really like that amiibo. Alright, moving on. We only have a few amiibos left. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's just pull a random one. We got Kirby right here. He is one of the most basic, easy to design characters in the Smash series. Yeah, his eyes still look a little odd. I don't know how they messed that up, but it's not that big of a deal. He looks completely fine enough. I think he has a little bit less color in his eyes than normal, but I mean, overall, pretty close to perfect amiibo. Pretty close to perfect amiibo. We got Lucas. He is one of my mains in the game, Smash Ultimate specifically, and he was a main of mine for a while. He's been a main of mine for a while. I go on and off with him, and I just thought he was, I don't know why they did his shorts like that. I guess they kind of had to, but it looks a little odd. You won't be seeing him from that angle. He is pretty good. I would say he's better than the Ness amiibo, but he did come a little bit later, considering he was a DLC Smash 4 character. So Lucas, I think he looks better than Ness, and that might just be biased, but I think he's one of the better looking amiibos. And you'll notice I'm going to be saying that for most animated characters. If you look like a human and you're an amiibo, you're not going to look very good. It's just how it is. Unless you're Ryu. This is a really good looking amiibo. I mean, what can I say? He has no fucking beam up his ass. He is in a fighting stance. He has his thing blowing in the wind. And his face is completely fine. They didn't fuck up his face, which is great. We're gonna finish up our Smash lineup with a character I give a two shits about, but he was like $3, so I picked him up. Greninja, he looks fine enough, I guess. I don't care that much about Pokemon. Moving on. Alright, so real quick, we will move along to the Mario amiibos right here. Mario brand amiibos. We got just the basic Mario. These were the second series that came out after the Smash amiibos. I already showed you the Waluigi one that I like very much. This is just a basic Mario amiibo. Not much more to say about it. The sideburn looks a little odd over here. It looks like texture. They colored too much of the sideburn. The skin color, I don't know what happened there, but and they didn't color enough of his sideburn over there. I don't know what the fuck happened with that amiibo. It's probably just a bad print on this specific amiibo. Whatever. He was like $2. Who cares? So I had this Bowser amiibo before I had any other Bowser amiibo, and it was my only way to skin in a Bowser amiibo on the Smash. So that's the only reason I had this guy. He was like $3. Might as well. His render looks good enough, except for his jaw being a separate piece here for some reason. That always struck me as odd, but you know, at least there isn't a beam holding him up. And last but certainly not least, we have Link on Epona. I don't know if this is Twilight Princess HD. If I'm, is it? I don't know. I know there was one Twilight Princess amiibo that was very expensive and worth money, but again, an amiibo that is killed by the fucking stand, so that way it can not fall over and stuff. The only contact points are Epona's two tiny ass hoofs on the ground, his two stupid little feet. So it has had this giant ass ramp on his fucking stomach. It just makes the amiibo look so bad, but if you really want to look past that, it's a really good amiibo from most sides. I think it looks really good. There's a lot of detail. Okay, so there's a Sheikah Slate here. This must be a Breath of the Wild amiibo. So that is my amiibos. Wow. How fucking interesting. I had a lot more than I thought. I thought this was going to be like a 20-minute video. It ended up being like 50. Sorry about that. But what can I say? I had more amiibos than I thought. Yeah, that's all I really got to share. I really love collecting amiibos, and if I ever get more, well, I will get more. When I get a lot more, I might do a update video to this. I might show you a lot more of my amiibos. I'd have to go a little bit more rapid fire, or else it would be like a 3-hour long video. But yeah, I enjoyed this. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Bye bye.